Stranger smiling, worried about phallic structure, finally getting the breaks now to fuck another alter ego. Political connections are straining the dream, poor hunger, enter ghosts. Fear driving him, shattered plan, conservatism imposes itself 100 miles per hour. Bastard lightning passed before his eyes, fatal. Old gambling room, blue southern desert, haze years sentencing new century reality. Healing power emanates as we try to figure out the human condition. They impose thought, control emerging and wiping history being practiced like wind through leaves. We're leaving recordings and trails all around in a dangerous century. Special effects produced surprised people, talking about the history before them and how far they have come. The waitress asks the cop, have all those words and sounds and images been described, as he talks about ignored minds. Faces waiting somewhere for light, and war is offered with booths like cinema. Stonewall death, school days, they'll crucify you, brother. It's probably good for you to genuinely add new, better excuses for living. Sweeping condoms, a distasteful swarm of a walk, but this is better than being on the verge of parasites. Fuck the campaign and the running. The long river of kids with curiosity will change time. A vague presence from the other is ordered by King Tomato. Write experimentally, youth. You can get another ancient mariner in your friendly hands. The astronauts' party was broken by the writer's script because they disappeared. Swine, spirits, and coffee for breakfast. Just Americans being patriotic. Indescribable eyes look the mirrors, whistling pictures that nobody calls home sweet home. Washing yourself might let you down, but a year ago, God knows where you could have been sitting. They pretended like nothing hurt, but deep inside they were all crying you. Watching agony made you all police officials, and then the system made you speak in languages that omitted facts. 10 priests later claimed they made boys do stuff they regularly would not do, and that they would stop the screaming via songs of worship. Junkie remains stayed in those streets, a reminder for kids straying away from a life with order. Crime would always be done behind her back, but the screaming, shooting, and snapping would always stay with her. We're gonna make you better with America's cure. That's the dream they sell you. Roaches moving across pictures as blood streams down the eyes of a sick and familiar face. Everybody leaving, the place smells of filthy cigarettes, generations hooked on garbage. The junk trip removes deep trains of mirrors the man would face when he could concentrate. Boys needed the outside to remain living even in these times where going outside can be a death sentence. The blues course here, drinks stab anybody who enters this place, all are on the verge of collapse. Performance festivals stand, symbols for the anti-material are displayed, but boneheads think these are just noises. It feels like cluster time is a thing as we sit in our mountains waiting for this to play out. Care for one's self is what you see the most these years, but hourglasses don't stay intact. Slowly, we will have to face our obvious faults against nature as ice continues in its current course. Friends, when will we find a solution to end our current wars? Time moves quick and we watch films while we slobber away like babies. The smiling finished as the junk got aboard and held the man's hand. Various thoughts you should really keep to yourself before putting them out there. Not everything needs to be part of the web. Scrambled messages all around, voices feeling like hurricanes and weapons. They can have the enemy destroyed, made into a screaming phantom made of bones. All they need is love in the form of a mob. Throats prepare to sing the Star-Spangled Banner after the death of a member of the Fuzz. The hitman for the Mafia stands there laughing loudly like Cape Fear De Niro. The one soul looking to pull out fragments of love out of you is fucking destroyed due to your constant hating of help and support because you want to have control. Jack the affectionate struck something each night as he tried to develop the romance he always wished for. People stared nervously and the black cars slapped anything that brought the illusion of dark Vietnam days. Rotten seas increased and the earth fell quick just 'cause we couldn't exercise cleaner ways of living. The eyes moved, always, serving as guns for the free verse writer who lived out of bonds. Blood evening skies soaked the cafe and the girl like a fountain. Now she knew she was in hell and God would not hear her testimony. Atomic experiments too crude for the same room destroyed cities in those days, and now more weapons are found, creating a goddamn war zone due to the pigs in power. This terrible gibberish makes him want pins in his guts as grim memories are pounded into his body. Black holes all through you and you just choose to make more. Remember this moment, the one where you pick the killer virus over loving. Winds of screamed deliriousness arrive first and the attorney just looks at you in this moment that never seems to end. Slow memory, caught like a documentary, ignores various aspects of one's troubled life. So, guilt walks down your mental nose more often than not, and sometimes it can hit like lightning on a tree. She's drastically fallen off, and life's script continues to fuck her up, leading her to violence that drastically painted the streets in red and blue. The enemy listened silently as blueprints for success were constantly explained and messed with. It was just a matter of days for the evil bastard to fight back with what he already knew while smoking a cigar. The first property God ever gave us was land, according to old books, or so it is thought. But there are few who can be purchasers in the world created by man. Violence and junkies found across the night sky, weakening the simplicity of an otherwise nice night. The children sneak dirty books with the unknown hum that human film has in the back of its head. Funny musicians drop cows, but the hairs could never be planted in time. Dr. Murphy's customer's orgasm, sending a message that leaves him in pain and fear and death and madness. Immortality is a thought that comes through with each cigarette that the virgin smokes. The goddamn photographer snapped. Holy shit, muttered the attorney in the hell dream. The bitch spent all his days putting fags into the sleeve and silverware. This lonely body halts for time with his son. The secrets revealed the parts needed to solve that quiet mystery the tongues said were hidden due to rage. They finished curled, unable to scream and concentrate and think. That was beautiful. 100 cigarettes in his mouth and nose. Receding flesh becomes the sexiest pieces the man has to offer. His mouth looked dry as the exile dragged him across time and took out something, a pain he left a long time ago, out of his brain's drawer and killed his current self. 120 tools stuck in this town looking for sight, but the effort was drained. Sun smoke smolders the rooms, and the police noises screw into the Mexican student's thinking about he considers to be justice. His eyes spark and his lips draw back as he lights up a cigarette as he watches the military ethics scramble around the world like eggs, with not one finger to stop the war. The erect phallus reaches the ceiling as the writer stares at his beautiful waitress girlfriend in the middle of a restaurant as his boredom leads his mind to fucking. Murderous language is thought and mouthed while the powdered scrambled eggs hit the floor. A disturbed prince turns punk when he meets the multi-leveled pain his people suffer daily. The office seems miles far as the thought of walking through snow eats him up. They live the moment in repeat as they keep reading the book, flavoring their childhood experiences. The American church lets out its excrement all across the web, undressing the hidden devil you never read in the books. Sit down, we're gonna have the crying party of a lifetime and share I love you as our aching hearts bring down houses. The boys shot a movie and fused it with nagging voices, taking a different process into his hands, something he'll be remembered by in his absence.